So
That should get good clicks.
hey,
That title should get good clicks.
you'd hope so.
And I think I'm going to make a little wing it thumbnail
Like it.
for each one.
Yeah, cool. Rate it.
Just something simplistic.
Cool, we know that's working. Sick. I'll get that up. You can go away, Audacity. No. That is recording, streaming, and we are live on YouTube. Awesome. All right, let's get it. Okay.
All right.
Make sure we're looking out that way. All right. 3,
Can I
2.
do the intro?
Oh, go for it, actually. Or 3, 2, 1.
G'day, and welcome back to another episode of the Wing It Podcast.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Very short turnaround this week.
Very short.
Which has been good. Only a couple of days off.
Unlike us.
Yeah, exactly right. But no, we're straight back into it as the finals are starting to get closer and closer, it seems. We're going to go through our finals preview on each game that's coming up. So we've obviously got the 4 games this week, which will be really exciting. No game on Sunday, which I love.
Thank God. Shouldn't have
Great
been one
idea.
in the first place. So very happy they got rid of that ASAP.
Kicking off with the Thursday night game. And
Yep.
that's what we're going to be starting with today. With the Brisbane Lions versus
The
Richmond Tigers.
Brisbane versus Lions, according to our script. But that's okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's talk about the story of both these teams this year. I mean, Lions, well, not this year. In general, the Lions have had a shocking finals record.
Awful.
1-6 with
Under Chris
Fagan.
Fagan.
That's a terrifying stat.
Yeah, it's a damning stat, and I don't think any coach would actually last with having that sort of record. They've been known to go out in straight sets. They had obviously that 1 year where they managed to win their first final, but finishing top 4 3 years in a row and now just outside the 4, it's really not good enough. And this is not the sort of stuff they should be serving up, especially for what they're doing in the home and away season as well.
Yeah.
It's really worrisome, and you'd have to think if they go out first game here against Richmond,
It's got to be danger signs, warning signs.
you got to flip it all over. You've got to toss out some of the players who aren't performing in the finals.
No.
And especially Chris Fagan. He has to go.
No excuses for a team that's played home finals, had COVID finals in their home state. They've had chances.
Had the perfect run at a grand final and still fucked up.
And stuffed it. Another player who loves a final, and his records are, I guess, the same as Lions, but flipped, and that's Dustin Munn. Could this be his last game as a Tiger? Who knows? I mean, it's a headline, but who knows? But let's talk about his career record, not only in finals, but against Brisbane. He is 16-2 against Brisbane. That's one of the most disgusting, lopsided stats I've seen in a while. Averages 24 touches in over a goal and a half against Brisbane.
Absolutely loves playing the Lions, doesn't
That's
he?
scary.
He scored 30 goals against the Lions, which is the most against any team.
Yep.
And he's also had 20 Brownlow votes against the Lions in his career.
So he just takes the piss.
He does. He loves coming up against him. They don't have anything to do about him or no one to throw at him, really. And you look at it this year, they've been adding to their backline, and it's become quite a decent backline. But again, this year, they've got no one to throw at him.
No, they don't. They never have.
And I think he will play a majority of the game up forward
You think so?
and probably kick 4 or 5.
Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, not at all. And we saw early in the year, not for Darcy, but the Tigers, they've owned Brisbane over the last few years, as we just mentioned. But especially early in the year, they played Brizzy, they had the game, they blew the game.
Had the game by the scruff of the neck, up 6 goals in the first quarter. They were on fire. Looked like I'd got my tip completely wrong. But Tigers came back.
As they always do.
Fought back, about 40 points down at one point nearly. And they were just unbelievable and sort of got into the Brizzy Lions' heads again. And it shows that sort of the weakness of the team and really how fragile they can be.
Especially when they play this Richmond side. A couple big outs for both sides. This is obviously recorded on Tuesday night, so it could be changes by Thursday. Well, by Wednesday, we'll find out. But Marcus Adams is out, obviously a huge out for Brisbane in their defence.
Massive.
And I guess that nullifies the out of Dylan Grimes. He may be back in, but it's highly unlikely. I don't think there's a chance. But
Went under the knife about 4 weeks ago for a hamstring injury. Be very surprised to see him come back if they don't push it late into the finals even.
So let's get into what's every team's case to win this game. So we'll start with Brisbane. What is their case? And you've written down the top end talent.
It has to be.
It has to be. It's great.
The top end talent is up there with some of the best sides in the competition, and that's why it is so worrisome and confusing, really, why they have such a poor finals record. So you look at the names. You look at the names. Oh, I'm doing it.
I will actually.
That's right. We'll just play at the time.
How's the timing of that, eh?
Hello, mate.
Who was that?
Instructions,
the old fella?
leave it letterbox. Doesn't leave a letterbox.
Is that the old fella from Spock?
Yeah. Instructions, leave a letterbox. Do you think he leaves it? No.
He just loves it.
Anyway, all right, we'll start from the Brisbane's case. All right, I'll enter it again.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get on to each team's case to win this game. And let's get on with Brisbane first. I think their biggest factor has to be their top-end talent.
Yeah, their top-end talent is up there with some of the best teams in the competition. You look at their midfield, Neil and McCluggage, who's taken his game to the next level this year. Neil might be adding another Brownlow to his trophy cabinet. Yep. And even up forward as well, they brought in the likes of Joe Danaher, who's been extremely disappointing in the finals for them last year. Charlie Cameron, who's actually been a shining light in these finals.
The only light.
Yeah, literally. So he's averaged 3 goals a game in 6 finals games, kicking 18 goals in the last couple of years. And then Harris Andrews, who's one of the best defenders in the league still.
Thanks, Mum. Please shut the door next time.
We've easy to start again from the top.
Holy fuck. No, we can go with Harris Andrews.
Yeah. Harris Andrews, who's one of the best defenders in the competition, and a real game winner in Zach Bailey as well.
And he's been phenomenal.
He has. He's been really flying under the radar, and I feel like he just has that clutch gene.
Oh, yeah, he's made for this.
Yeah, if you remember back to that game-winning goal against
Collingwood. Yep.
And Cam and I were both sitting there, and for some reason, we both just said, he's going to kick this. No idea why. He just seems to have that clutch gene and have that about him. And then Rich, who's been fantastic in the back line, All-Australian last couple of years. And Starcevic as well, who I think is the real wild card for Brisbane in this one.
Yep.
If he can get a hold of Shea Bolton or Dusty Martin, he's the perfect sort of small, quick defender.
Yeah, he is.
But can play taller as well, which you need with a Shea Bolton with his aerial prowess. I feel like he could shut him down, and that's shutting down a real game winner, and could really win you the game.
100% agreed. Well, they are the bigger and stronger team, and then Richmond as well, especially in the back line. Well, they should. You got Hipwood and Danaher, and you got the big O/McStay. They've got big bodies galore, so they should be the bigger team. And Brisbane's back line is quite small.
Yeah, it is.
So there's no real reason. Tarrant's been good though. But regardless, and at home, they just something to prove. This is the biggest. We said this just off the podcast. We'll say it again. This is the biggest game in Brisbane lines for 20 years.
Easy.
This is bigger than 2002 or 3 grand finals because they already won in 01. That was just icing on the cake.
There's about 10 people's jobs on the line.
Every job.
Obviously, including Chris Fagan. Let's see if they're really going to play for their coach.
Yeah.
And play for their dignity, really. You've looked at what's happened in the media over the last few weeks. Chris Fagan's been absolutely copping it for his finals record. Zorko, he's been told to give up the captaincy.
Yep.
So there's no bigger thing that can be said about you in the media than giving up the captaincy that you've held for so many years, drag this team through the dirt to where they are now. But rightly so, I think a lot of the criticism is very warranted. So.
100%. Biggest game for Brisbane in 20 years, no doubt about it. Let's move on to Richmond. Now, look, they've owned the Tigers in the last few years, and why is that going to change? I don't know if it does. They've been dominant, and they're in their heads. It's psychological warfare now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They've been in their heads the last few years, as you were saying, with the finals. And I think it really started from the COVID year where a lot of the finals were played up in Queensland, and it favoured Brisbane. They were hitting their straps at the right time. They were playing a lot of games at home throughout the lead up to the finals and ended up having home finals and still couldn't get the job done up in Brisbane against Richmond. So just can't see them turning that around, especially that mindset going into it with the pre-finals bye as well. The 2 weeks of thinking about it and getting in your own head about it can really affect you.
Agreed. Now, Marcus Adams is out. We spoke about it previously.
Yeah.
Tom Lynch might be the most informed player in the AFL right now. Kicked 8 goals in the second to last week. Finished with another 5.5 in the last week.
It was unreal.
Going at 3.8 goals a game, Dogger. That is unbelievable. Hitting the straps at the right time against a smaller defense with Adams out. He could be the game winner here, no doubt.
And the only knock on him this year is that he hasn't played enough footy. But in a one-game finals game, doesn't matter. He's rested. He's ready to go. Had that hamstring soreness, I believe they put it down to. But with the week off, I think he's primed and ready to go. And another man that's primed and ready to go
Dustin Martin.
Exactly right.
Who knows if it's Dusty at 20, 50, 70 or 90%? I do not care.
If he rocks up with one leg and no shoe on the other leg,
don't care.
I'll take him.
You park him forward against that team he's bullied for his whole entire career, I'll take my chances every day of the week.
He is the best finals player
we've ever seen.
Well, of all time.
100%. No doubt at all. And they've been there and done it all before. All right, now, this game will be won or lost in the ruck. Lions and Tigers sit currently 5th and 6th in the AFL for hitouts per game. So that's 40 hitouts to 38. Dead even, we'll call it. But Richmond do not give up hitouts whatsoever. Second best all year in nullifying opposition ruckman. 28 hitouts a game they allow.
Wow.
Lions are averaging 40. That's a 40% drop-off in hitouts is what Richmond are forcing teams to do. A team like Richmond.
Nankervis, just the ability to nullify the other ruck.
Nankervis, or whether it's Soldo, whether it's their tag team, where they always go with Soldo or a Marriage, or whoever it is.
Yeah, Bolter.
So they have the ability to bring in extra players and nullifying them. So expect a bold showing from Nankervis and the likes, as we've said. Nullifying the Lions' impact in the ruck, and that's going to restrict their stars to getting first-class service, which they've had a lot of the year.
Yep.
Big O's been really good, and they swap and change all the time, stay, they're fresh. They can be nullified now from Nankervis, which we've seen all year long. That's going to hurt them. And what does that mean? If you're not getting the first choice, you're not going to get the first clearance, you're not going to get the first option that you want. It's going to force you to handball the ball rather than kicking deep. Handballs is where else this game is going to be won or lost in. Tigers give up the most handballs in the league. Crazy to think, considering they destroy every ruckman.
Yeah.
You think, why is that happening? But Richmond have never had a textbook game plan, have they? No. It's this crash and bash style that always wins.
The chaos ball.
100%. And that's how they want to play. They want you to handball because a handball is better than a kick.
Yeah.
They want you to play that game. So Lions are not a handball crazy side. They're actually third last in the league for handballs, which is surprising with players like Lachie Neale. But Richmond will be forcing Lions to handball all day with their game style, which wants you to handball, as I've just said. And their ruck dominance, they're going to be handballing backwards, sideways. Nothing's going forward.
And that could take away one of the biggest strengths the Lions have, and that's goal kicking from the midfield.
Yep.
Which is what they do week in, week out. You see Lachie Neale with a goal, McCluggage with 4 goals this year as well in the game. It. So if he's being forced to handball rather than kick that ball inside the forward 50 or have that run out of the clearance, could be real danger.
No doubt at all. Expect Neale, who averages 16 handballs, McCluggage 10, Matheson, if he plays, 7. These are huge numbers for handballers. They'll rack up plenty of touches, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. That's going to be the issue. It's going to be congested, contested football or handballs backward. That just hurts Lions so much. Yeah. So that's where the game's going to be won or lost. It's going to be won and lost in the ruck, and that's going to lead to handballs or kicks out of that midfield.
And on to who will win and who will lose.
Well, we're going with a split tip here, aren't we?
I'm
taking on the Tigers. I can't go apart from them. I don't care if Dusty's got 1 arm, 3 arms, or 2. I don't care. He's going to win this game.
I'm going to be taking the Lions.
Spoiled by you.
I think back against the wall, sometimes a team is at every disadvantage possible.
Yep.
But their back's against the wall. They have to win. I think the Lions take this one out.
I respect your opinion. I'll give you that. All right, beautiful. That is Brisbane versus Lions. He started again. Brisbane versus Richmond. The first final on Thursday night. We'll be back with another episode in a moment for Geelong versus Pies.
We will. And let us know your thoughts down below in the comments.
Beautiful.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram.
@Winger Podcast.
Follow us on TikTok.
@Winger Podcast.
And also have a listen to us on Spotify.
@Winger Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Good night. Well, that was 14 minutes with